was wearing. And she said, I've translated it into English, but in Kiswahili. Kwa nini huyu leo amevaa kanzu? Kwa kawaida huwa havai kanzu. That the deceased remarked, why is the first accused person wearing a kanzu today? He usually does not wear a kanzu. Now, what comes out of the evidence of these witnesses? About 5 of them. 1, that all of them, Pamela, who was at the house, Jennings, who was at Roadhouse, Chelagat, who was at Roadhouse, 3 of them speak to the same 3 items or cloth that the first accused was wearing. T-shirt, brown short, maroon cap. All of them. Then we have the second set of witnesses, but there's a bridge, which I'll bring. Jennings, the guard at Ramuria, and Owen speak to a white kanzu. The question is this: why is there divergence? How come Pamela does not speak of a white kanzu? How come Chelagat does not speak of a white kanzu? And the answer was not far from the analysis of the evidence. The answer is, when the first accused person is said to have left the house, he was not dressed in a kanzu. So this kanzu is, according to the evidence of Jennings, was worn just before he went to the house of the deceased. And so anybody who met him before he went to the house of the deceased would not have seen the kanzu. Do these clothes implicate him in the commission of the offense? Hold your horse. Three other things on this cloth. 1, were these clothes recovered? If so, where? The evidence reveals that the short and the maroon cap were recovered and they were produced in this court. The police have brought an inventory that the first accused person is supposed to have signed, acknowledging the clothes were found in the house where he was staying. Those clothes have been shown to the witnesses. They have identified them. But what was not brought to this court was the white kanzu. And how do the prosecution deal with the absence of the white kanzu? They bring evidence to the effect that during their investigations, they discovered that there were items which the first accused person burnt. And among those items, they recovered the remnants. There was a white piece of material which they believe was the kanzu that was not completely burnt. The court had the benefit of seeing the white kanzu piece of material. My observation as a court, it was evident that piece of material was stitched. You can see the running of the machine. So it's not like somebody just cut a piece of material and there it was, there were stitches. Which in the logical conclusion is that it must have been a piece of cloth stitched for wearing. 2, and I'm now getting into the submissions that were brought by the parties. The first accused persons heavily submits on the fact that the shot which has been produced in this court as prosecution exhibit 9 was not the shot collected from his house. And you will understand why that evidence is heavily fought, because that shot is supposed to be having blood stains of the deceased, critical. But the evidence is this, that shot, when it was recovered, it was entered in an inventory, and the accused signed the inventory. The argument of the first accused person is that this shot in this court is faded yellowish. I had the benefit of seeing that shot. There is nothing faded yellowish. It is a khaki brown shot. This court was told khaki is not a color. It is a mixture of nylon and others and others. The color is not khaki, the color is brown. I had the benefit of looking at that white piece. It's a relatively big piece, and one cannot rule out that it may and was the kanzu.